What's up, guys? We're here today with an account review that I may actually be asking for y'all's help on. So this is Morphus321's account, and he sent me this message saying he's been playing since Ninja first came out, 100% free to play. Feel like I've completed the game and I'm stuck on what to do next. P.S. Don't care about Faction War Hard. Mythical's not worth it. Understandable. Free to play account is gonna be very difficult to get Faction Wars Hard completed. So with this knocked out of things that he cares about, really shrinks down what the end game would look like in a way, because Faction Wars Hard is very, very difficult content, very time consuming to get it all done. So right there, we don't have to consider Faction Wars Hard being something for him to work towards. Now, after that, he says he has no problems with any of the hard mode dungeons. Chimera and Hydra are pretty solid. Have Marius, Carnage, Emrys, Mikage, and Lamasu. Most wanted champions are Rotos, Kymar, or Yumiko. Honestly, I'm not really sure why, other than just for fun, and unsure what to do next. Thought about focusing on Arena, but don't have enough speed to compete. This is a very big problem for free-to-play low-spin players, is not having enough speed to compete, which means you're going to have to look at go second options. Go second options are typically going to lend themselves to having a pretty fast champion like Armand's, a pretty fast Fabian, a pretty fast any other lockout interrupt type champion that you have. Stuff like Supersonic, High Blessings with Temporal Chains, things like that start to work very good for PvP. Now, before we talk about PvP, which is probably where this is going to be a big focus, I do want to say I feel like Raid in general is a graph that kind of looks like this. In the early parts of the game, it goes up pretty quick. And then if you're not getting lucky pulls and like clan boss and stuff, it kind of levels out. You're making some progress. But this is where you do your first initial dungeon farming. And then you start doing clan boss. You start progressing in some dungeons. You've farmed quite a bit of stuff. And then your progress starts to go up a little bit more. And then somewhere you start pulling for some Hydra champions, some Chimera stuff eventually. You're starting to push in some Arena. And then you kind of start staggering out a little bit. You're not going down. That's just my bad drawing there. But you kind of flat a little bit as you start to grind some more gear. And then you start making that leap into the later and in-game stuff. And now you're doing higher levels of Hydra. You're doing some Chimera. Obviously, this is not 100% accurate on the timeline. But then your progress goes up, and then it starts to fade out, and then you're kind of flatlining at the very end of the game. Because if you're not somebody who's interested in pushing high levels of Arena, you're not somebody worried about pushing high levels of Faction War, finishing it, that is, what else is there? I mean, if you don't have the champions to push really high Hydra Clash scores, and your clan doesn't really care as much about Clash, which his clan seems to be doing decent. You can't see his score behind me, but he's doing 2.93 billion damage. His account is right here, almost 3 billion damage. We have a Titus team, I'm sure. Let's see. We don't have a Titus team. So yeah, he could throw in some different teams here to get a bigger Clash score. That's somewhere you could progress, but that may or may not be what you want to do. If you have a Yumiko, of course, you could Yumiko Lamasu reset. Maybe that's why he wants a Yumiko. But if you just want full auto teams, maybe you're not even interested in this because he probably has all 100% full auto teams. So then it is, do you want to manual the stuff? If you do, optimize your Hydra teams a bit further. You could throw in a Titus team currently. You have the champions to do it, I believe. You have Wixwell, you have Titus, and that's really the two main champions you need. I'm not going to go into that because I'm not really sure if he even wants to push Hydra, but that is an area that you could focus, is pushing higher Clash points. But it really comes down to your clan. Do they care that much about it? And then it comes down to, where is that gear going to be tying into? Well, if you're not worried about high-end Arena, maybe it's not going anywhere. And then for Chimera, similar thing. He has some good teams, he said, built here, though he didn't seem to use his keys. We forgot those, I guess, unfortunately. I can't see what, maybe he did. Actually, no, 4. No, that was previous week. So 54, forgot his Chimera keys. That's unfortunate. Either way, actually, let's see. Oh, man, I'm exposing you on your clan stuff. But either way, Chimera, he said, was in a good spot. If he was playing with Ninja, then definitely Ninja's involved in Chimera with Mikage. It's probably a Ninja Mikage Lydia type team. Maybe a Marius makes an appearance, but he says he has Chimera covered. So then it's like, okay, well, Doom Tower is of course being good if you have all these other areas covered, no problem. Curse City, he already has Carnage, and he's probably making his way through as much of it as possibly can. If he wants to go through and spend the extra time to get through some of these rooms, that's a great way to continue progressing your account. But once again, where are you wanting to land at? It all comes down to what you want to do in Raid and what you find fun. This is actually something I've been talking to a lot of players about recently with these account reviews. Is Raid is very different depending on what you find fun in the game. If Morphus finds fun in completing everything, well, the Great Hall is gonna need to be completed. We got quite a bit more that needs to be grinded here, but if he's fine, well, you can leave it. Same thing over here. This is a long journey, very, very long journey over here in the live arena Great Hall. The regular Great Hall is much more achievable, and this alone will boost your damage in a lot of areas. I'd say as far as just quick and easy progression, this and this, not even progression, but just like quick and easy boosting your scores and your speeds, this and this would be the way to go. Getting the defense bonuses here is just a simple, basically savage set thrown on everybody in whichever area you're boosting it in. This is going to take quite a bit of grinding to get all this complete, and he's already got 16,000 medals. So say we're doing the live arena and the classic arena stuff. I'll go over some teams in just a little bit. Let's take a look at his dungeon teams, because optimizing Hydra, optimizing Chimera may or may not be something he wants to do, depending on if he wants to go full auto or manual. Full auto, it's a lot more difficult to get those really, really high scores versus manual. You can squeeze a bit more. If we're looking at dungeons, this is something I would spend time doing. This Ice Golem time is honestly terrible. 9 minutes, you're not farming this, right? There's no way. He's probably doing stage 5 or somewhere around there. Stage 10, yeah, this is definitely not the team for that. For stage 10, use RTAC. RTAC and regeneration gear would do this easily. But unfortunately, it's kind of like a doomer mentality where it's like, well, why are we even going to use them for stage 10? We already got Hydra complete. We don't really need the extra farming on Ice Golem because the sets that drop here are really for Hydra. And if we're not improving that, then what do we do? But if you do want to improve those scores, doing a higher stage in Ice Golem is the way to go. Or just for the completionist mentality, this would be a great place to go. So stage 10, if you have Seer, may not even have Seer, honestly. Doesn't even have Seer on the account. Wow. Okay, that's actually fine because Artek can do some soloing stuff by himself anyways. With this gear, we have good HP. I think we need a little bit more resistance to resist the boss. We could probably throw a champion in here with a resistance aura and get him very close to resisting the boss. So you could build Artek to solo Ice Golem. But if you're fine with doing the lower stages are okay as well. You could throw in potentially a Mithrala. You could throw a Siphi in here, and you'd definitely be good to go there. As far as Spider, time is great. Dragon, time is good. 59 seconds. Marius is probably hard carrying, using a solo champion. Very nice, but Marius can definitely make that really fast. Fire Knight, 2 minutes and 18 seconds for a free-to-play account is very good. I'm going to take a look at his champions in a little bit and showcase those because his champions are really cool. We have his builds. I think it's really good to see what a free-to-play player, how they navigate that kind of stuff. Stage 25 for 25 seconds, very nice there. Phantom Shogun, we have 18 seconds, so all of his dungeons is more or less complete. If you want to speed up Ice Golem, it's a great dungeon to do it, but we have that done. Faction Wars is done. Not worried about pushing hard mode to get the mythical, so just pushing whatever highest stage you can do for the best chance at higher glyphs. That's done. Arena, we'll talk about that. These areas are done. Doom Tower is done. Curse City is done. So for what this player finds fun and where he wants to push and what his expectations are, he has basically beat the game. I don't really know where you couldn't say he beat the game. Now, if you're a spender and you want to get top 100 in live arena, or you want to complete all of Faction Wars hard, the game becomes much different for you. Now, all of a sudden, you have to come through here and fine tune all of these champions. You have to start pushing up their gear even higher. You need to start looking for souls. You got to start optimizing for specific Faction War champions. You got to build up and optimize champions for specific Curse City stages that you otherwise would not be completing. For this account, he's probably not completing all of the Centranos rotations. Maybe he is. This one has no champions filled out here. So I would assume he's not completing this one. That's something he could work towards. Completely up to him. Does he want to spend the tons of energy and resources to take a champion up to then spend potentially hours trying to finish this just to realize that you don't actually have the champions to do it? Probably not. So let's take a look at the champions real quick. We have Mikage. And while we're doing this, what I wanted to ask from you guys for help is if you were in a similar situation to this account, what would you say the next area he should be focusing on is? I believe it's going to be Arena, and we're going to take a look and focus kind of there and give him some ideas on Arena. But It's one of those things where I can't tell you how to play the game and have fun. Some people like making free-to-play accounts in the very beginning of the game over and over and over and playing a bunch of different accounts. That's not fun for me. That's fun for them. So I can't say one way or the other that's the right way or the wrong way to play it. Now, this account, I think he's made fantastic progress. I think it's awesome. And I can prove real quick that he is free to play because if you come in here, he still has a purchase bonus here. So he is actually, in fact, free to play. His Embreeze build right here is really solid. Calamitous 6-piece Merciless is good. 226, 80% crit rate because of his skills and how they have built-in crit rate anyways. We have Carnage with a nice build, 232. Slower than his Embreeze, slower than his Marius. His Marius isn't quite 4-star Blessing. That would be great to get for sure. His Ninja sitting at good speed, especially with Mikage. Pretty good crit damage as well. Arethi Coronet for just the cherry on top. Marius here. Artak is in some decent solo gear. I don't think he's probably soloing Ice Golem. Maybe he is. Golden Elixir probably helps out a lot, actually. He doesn't have his Mastery, so if he had those, that would definitely help out. We have Aislinn, but no Taras Marichka craziness, so can't really use that. I have a 6-star Soul on Harima, which is pretty massive for the arena. She is built well also. 240 speed, once again, below Embreeze and Marius, so that Stoneskin can be stripped, and then she can be doing some big damage. Also, I assume part of Hydra, which is why she is in Crushing Rend, so very, very good job there. Armand's is in 4-piece Stoneskin plus 4-piece Supersonic. Great champion to cut in the arena. Like he said before, he doesn't really have the best speed gear to compete in speed. I checked his speed gear out, by the way, and his speed gear in his account, the fastest champion he could have is going to be 404 speed on his Siphi, but he has to strip some stuff from his Arbiter, and it's probably not going to be worth it. To be honest, 404 speed at the level of live arena he's in is probably going to be outsped most of the time. So then you have to consider, okay, well, if they're going to outspeed my speed booster anyways, and I'm going to lose every speed race, what should I be doing instead? Well, you could build Armands or Fabian as some of your fastest champions. So then you don't have a speed booster, but maybe they win the speed race, and then you lock the enemy out. I actually played against a few players in live arena. Granted, their Armands and Fabian were like 430 plus, but it was their fastest champions and kind of surprised a lot of players because they never expected a Armands or Fabian with no booster to be faster than them. My Armands on my account is actually my fastest champion as well. Granted, much more than 404 speed. Now, if you don't want to do that, I think this build is fantastic. I think this is definitely the right way to go with the Stoneskin plus Supersonic. So as far as the Armand's accuracy goes, 565 is very solid. Let's see what else. I mean, his champion builds are good. Rhonda obviously is a good champion to counter a lot of the mythicals with their passives and crazy stuff. Her A2 ability is so strong. Definitely a champion worth investing in if you're going to use her in content. So ultimately, we're looking at an account where the areas remaining are probably going to be a situation where the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Where Curse City, a few rooms for a big investment and a small payoff, probably not worth it. Where extra damage in Hydra and Chimera, if you're not looking to push the very top scores, maybe not worth it depending on how your clan, what their expectations are. For Faction Wars, not really worth it. It's going to be a lot of work to actually get up there. It's going to be difficult. And obviously, he's already said, not worth it for him. Different people obviously going to have different opinions. So for Arena, these are some areas that I would try to work on to complete to really consider beating the game, specifically for an account like this. Completing the Great Hall in Classic Arena being the #1 focus, and then Live Arena being the background focus to just maybe make a few other areas easier or just boost your damage. The easiest way to boost your damage for Hydra with changing nothing is going to be to max out Ignore Defense, crit damage, speed, accuracy, resistance, this stuff, and then boom, you add a few million more damage to all of your teams. But as for the Arena teams, since I do want to give him some value in this, and I am very interested in seeing what you guys have to say in the comments, because this is a very unique situation of an account, and I want to give him as much benefit as he can get. So definitely leave your comments down below. I'm very interested in what your take is on a free-to-play account like this. Now, the team that he's running is a speed team. He said that he's not that fast, so a speed team, it's still going to be what you're going to use to farm the arena because you're still going to want to do it quickly. Like Go Second isn't the most fun to farm the arena with. It's just the reality of stuff because it takes so long to get through things, right? But what we have here is we have go second with Marius, or sorry, go first with Marius. Now, his Marius is in stone skin and his Freya is in stone skin as well, right? So Freya is right here. Stone skin, 4-piece, technically 5 pieces, but that's okay. We have Marius. Let's see how this actually plays out. Is he faster than the opponent or not? It'd be great to have an intimidating presence with 5 or 6 stars on the team, just so you win a little bit more of the speed races. Okay, so Freya does a cleanse there. And then what did Freya cut in line for? I'm not even sure. Did Marius didn't almost die, did he? I don't think he did. Okay, maybe something happened. I'm not really sure what happened there exactly, to be honest. We are getting some counterattacks there. Get a shield. This is a good team for just some safe, consistent, slow, but consistent farming. Well, slow against that team. In general, it's going to be fine. The easiest way to go about this, obviously not to hit Calvalax teams because they're going to poison your 2 champs and pretty much wreck you right off the bat. But the best way to go about this is going to be to drop your defense, make it like a one-man defense, make it pretty simple and easy to use, and then just farm at lower levels of the arena. You don't have to be gold 5 top. You can be gold 5 bottom and be fine there. Now, as for other teams that he can use, let's check this out. His 3v3 defense is going to be, no, it's not going to be what he uses right now because it's middle of the week. Let's see what teams he has in the presets. So he has Harima. This is a good team here, though I would be on the fence about using 2 speed teams. You've already said that your speed champions are not very good and your speeds aren't very fast. You're getting outsped a lot on these teams, I can guarantee it. Even though you have a 33% speed aura, your Arbiter is 357 and your Siphi is 387. Siphi, I think it's worth to have 1 speed team. With 2 speed teams, I think is basically just saying you're going to probably lose 2 of those fights, possibly. Because that's not difficult speed to be faster than. So what you're looking at now is go second teams. What I like to do is I like to have 1 team that can be a more legit go second, like take the beating and go second. And then I like to have a pseudo go second team. A pseudo go second team, that's just what I call it. Maybe I'm the only person who calls it that. But what that would consist of, I'm going to delete these 2 presets. Hopefully it's not too important for you. Oh, okay, that's a Clan Siege preset there. So let's go in here. A pseudo go second team, in my opinion, well, since I made up that word, of course it can only be my opinion, is going to be a champion like Armand's. Armand's is not going to go first, but he is in supersonic gear, so he's going to get turn meter boost whenever they boost their turn meter. You can't really go a slow team versus Armand's and expect to win, so Armand's being here is awesome. We could open with this or open with this. It doesn't really matter. Either one's going to be fine. It just depends on, do you expect to be hit by teams with no stone skin or with stone skin? This is going to be a bit better if they have stone skin, chance to strip them, or at least just place the sheep. Either way, he's going to boost up and cut in line. If you had the A2 as the opener, then he's going to actually reduce the turn meter and then hopefully allow you to get everywhere else take a turn. However, if they're all in stone skin, it's going to be a little bit of a different situation. So you can test it out and see which one works best. The next champions you're going to use, you have Embry's. Actually, as far as your heavy go second monster champions, you have these 3. These 3 are like top tier go second champions. They're absolutely amazing for damage dealers, that is. You also have Freya, which is very good. You have Sun Wukong, very strong there as well. So you have plenty of go second options. As for control and support type stuff, we have Siphi. We have Ancora, probably, right? Ancora should be here. Maybe I missed her, but she is a monster of a champion. She's a free champion. Oh, looks like you missed her. That's unfortunate. We have Freya. Increased defense there as well. So with the Armand's team, I would really like to have a champion here who can do a res. It doesn't have to be an increased defense champion, but a revive would be great. It doesn't have to be an increased defense champion if we're planning to... Actually, no. With Harima, you can always make sure... I'm just going to fill in 2 champions here. You can always either run Freya, Marius, or Siphi with them to give them that increased defense. For your actual speed team, I'll throw in a champion in just a moment. Actually, let's go ahead and do that a little bit. So we'll fill in a champion spot as a placeholder, Siphi. Now, your Marius is fast. He's a very good champion for this speed team. I would not necessarily use Harima just because of her benefits in a go second team are so massive that I think she's better suited there. Not because she can't be in a speed team, just because she brings so much for that go second team. Not necessarily this one, but for some go second team. Now, this is going to be with 3v3 in mind, but this is still going to be like your core main champion that you use. So in this Armand's team, let's think about how it's set this up. So Armand's there. We want another champion in Stoneskin. I know you're Noelle, your Lady Noelle. I imagine she's probably in Stoneskin. Unfortunately, she is actually in a supersonic set as well. I like this. So we have 2 supersonic builds, a little bit of resistance, a very interesting build with her, and something worth considering is I don't know if you can pull it off because you don't have the 5-star soul. It's a high resistance or a fairly high resistance build. Actually, resistance may not even be that big of a deal. It's a feral plus stoneskin build with lightning cage as well. So then bombers aren't able to bomb your team as easily. So then she just picks people up after they all die anyway. So that is a Noelle build. It's very common and it's very nasty to deal with. Now, as for her kit, she does not actually have a cleanse, right? She has a res, which is great. She messes the enemy up, but revive on the A3. She has a single target cleanse, right? Then, oh no, it's just a big heal and then a sheep removal. She doesn't actually have a cleanse. If you have a cleanser, that could be your champion potentially to deal with the bombs. Not a bad option. Freya could do it if she was in that setup. Right now, she is in a cool build. I like this, but having an option for cleansing bombs could be good if that's something you find to be a problem. Let's get back on track here. Let's just say we did Armand's plus, could be Noelle or Elva. I like both of them here. Elva with a single target res, as long as she's in Stoneskin, which she should be, right? Elva is in Stoneskin, 80,000 HP, good speeds there. Either one's going to be fine, but I would like a Stoneskin champion. Could even be a Freya. Doesn't have to be anything different. We have a few options. So Freya is going to protect your damage dealer to a point. Let's say we threw in Embry's here, another Stoneskin champion. Put him in the back spot just for my mental organization stuff here. The Siphi, I want a good speed aura there. You could even use Carnage for the 33% speed aura, so you're getting the most from it. You could use Wukong as well. Wukong's also going to be pretty decent in a pure Go Second team, so we could put the pure Go Second team up here, which would be okay. We expect the enemy to just nuke us down. That could be a really good, which even with a pure Go Second team, you still want to have your champions fairly fast. So we'll throw Wukong up here in the lead spot, and then maybe we want to use a Freya possibly for the increased defense, maybe a Harima, and then maybe a Lady Noelle for some potential freezes. So now you have freeze, you have some strips. You don't have no decreased defense, but you won't really need that probably. He should do a lot of damage. This is a Go Second team. So this is not going to be one that you would take against super tanky teams anyways. Noelle is actually a better aura lead over Wukong anyway, so we can just swap this. We have some intimidating presence. Ideally, Stoneskin, which is already the situation. And then for this team, well, that's not the team we're using. We're using this, and this. So then this Armand's team actually for the Siphi team, what I would do here, if you wanted to have Carnage as the lead, we already have stuff for Marius. I would consider throwing in like a Fabian potentially, but you do have him, right? I'm pretty sure I saw Fabian lurking around in here because as a slower player, you're going to rely heavily on lockouts, control, stuns, all this kind of stuff to interrupt the enemy. Your speed team, get a Fabian in here. He's going to lock the enemy out, reduce their buff durations. Yes, Marius does that as well, but he could be resisted. Maybe he doesn't strip it. Fabian, same thing, could also be resisted. Maybe he doesn't strip it. But either way, Fabian in this team is going to be very strong for you. So this would be a fast team with a lockout, some Stoneskin champions as well. This would be relying on speed. Worst case scenario, you weren't fast enough. Well, Marius is still in Stoneskin. Maybe you're okay. Then you have this team right here. We got to figure out the remaining parts of this team. So we have the supports up there, very heavy. I would love it if you had another revived champion or another support type champion. It could be a UDK. We're going to have Armand's cutting in, hopefully, and getting some control over the fight. Could have Kaja potentially. Lamasu, not really what I want to see there. Arbiter, not exactly either. May end up having to drop one of these champions down. But I do like this. This is pretty good. I don't guess you have Pythion, do you? No, no Pythion. So with the Armand's pick, this team, I would say the best bet for you. Your Embreeze, you want to get him to take a turn, obviously. If he has a 1-star soul, that'd be a lot better. May even need another damage dealer here. Probably actually do need another damage dealer here. I want a damage dealer who can actually contribute something to the team nicely and survive and do some good stuff. Let's see who you have. Stock's not going to do anything here. We have Aislinn, but not a whole lot to work with him, unfortunately. You have Hefrak, who could be very powerful potentially as well. Hefrak plus Wukong is cool, though I think Harima in this team is very powerful. I do like Wukong plus UDK. So that could even be a team down there. Wukong plus UDK, and then have a revive champion there. Because it is very difficult and annoying to deal with those champs, but that would make your Wukong be the only damage dealer, which may not be that big of a deal. You wouldn't be able to single target him as easily. So you could even do something like, okay, this team right here is UDK plus Wukong. And then this team up here has Embreeze, which makes it even harder to deal with and kill him. Heavy go second team. The pseudo go second team. As long as your Wukong's, yeah, he's fast. He's a very well built Wukong. Actually, probably a better setup there, just overall. And then if we had could even be a Mithrala, honestly. But I really like the idea of a reviver here. Could be your Elva. Elva's not necessarily my favorite res option. She's in Stone Skin. Is your Kaj? Your Kaj is not in Stone Skin, right? If she is, that could be a really good option too. She is in Stone Skin. If you get a 4th piece of Stone Skin on there, I like that a lot actually. Then Kaja plus Wukong. She does not do. Does she do increased attack? I forget. She does increased crit rate, increased crit damage, no increased attack. So you'd be relying on stealing the increased attack from them, basically. But some teams like this could be very interesting. This would be go second. Now, in doing these teams, this is not necessarily just for this. It's going to be very similar and transferable over to Live Arena as well. Your builds right now are really good, to be honest. The speed team is going to be good. I think overall, your builds and champions is solid. I think your main pick for Live Arena is going to be these champs. I'll show you right here. It's going to be Embreeze, Carnage. Actually, no, Embreeze, Marius, Armands are going to be like, if you get those champions, you want them as soon as possible. I think Fabian's a champion you should definitely build up because he's a very big threat in Arena. Harima is going to be a very strong potential option for you as well, since you already have the Marius. Your Siphi is probably somebody to get into as many fights as you can also, because she does the increased defense. So if you're doing a draft, you could do something like, make sure you get a speed aura. You could do these 2 champions as a guaranteed speed aura. You could do Embreeze plus Marius as potentially some more damage dealers. Or let's think about if you were to use... It really depends on the champions and the teams you're going against. You do want to kind of try to get 2 speed auras if you're going to have Siphi, because she doesn't bring her own speed aura. Unfortunately, you could just go Lady Noelle and just have a full go second team. You definitely want to have Armands, or a good chance of having him in there, though. If you had Armands plus Fabian would actually be your other speed aura. You could do these 2 plus Siphi, and then these 2. They're all free champions, which is what you're going to find yourself using because you're a free-to-play player. But these 4 champs, if you can get the Fabian built properly, these would be very good for having just Siphi thrown into the mix. And then if you have a speed option, boom, you're doing good. Your Fabian could be built really fast. Your Armand's in slower stuff because he's probably going to get banned. I actually like that idea a lot. Having Siphi, Armand's, Fabian, these 2. If they end up picking Marius or Embreeze, which they probably will very early on, I would say your replacements for them would be Harima is a pretty easy slot in for Embreeze. You do really want to have one of these 2, though you do have 2 somewhat Stone Skin strip options anyways. Carnage is going to be very powerful. With Siphi, you're already going to have the increased defense, so Harima is going to be even more valuable, but Wukong and Carnage. So for your damage dealers, Wukong, Carnage, Marius, and Embreeze and Harima are going to be your main 6 damage dealers. Most likely they already are anyways. And then as for your supports, it's going to be Armand's, Fabian, Sify, probably going to be your main ones. Of course, if they take away your Sify, then you're not going to be going a speed team with her. So then you may have to go for more go second stuff. You have well-built champions in Freya already. You have well-built champions in Lady Noelle. So all of these are just kind of cycle them in based on what the enemy does. Just always remember, if they're going speed, you got to decide, do you want to combat the speed or do you just want to go into a strong go second team? Running, if they pick a bomb champion, have a champion who can counter bombs. The best and easiest way to counter bombs is to have a fast champion with a cleanse and block buffs. Freya is a very good champion to do that, specifically putting them in a Feral plus Stone Skin build with Lightning Cage, because they can't be bombed. They're going to take good damage, and if they try to get stripped, well, there's a good chance they just protect the block debuffs anyways, and no bombs get applied. So she's a very good bomb counter. You could use Mithrala as a bomb counter as well, but then it's a little bit of RNG if they have enough accuracy to place it through to you. You have Nishak here also, but I feel like with your account, Nishak pairs very good with Arbiter. And if you're not using Arbiter that much, I think Sify's just not going to pair that well with Nishak, basically. So limited use cases there. I definitely think Arena is the area where you're going to be focusing. I think it's an excellent place. I think this is where your account should be focusing. But I also want to hear from everybody else watching this video. Where do you guys think this account should be focusing? Do you have some different ideas on the team builds? Definitely interested in knowing. I'm sure Morphus will benefit from that as well. We have Marius boosting Carnage anyways with his increased accuracy, and then Carnage throwing out the, well, I'm not going to do a whole lot here, unfortunately, because of all weak hits, but that's just the way RNG is sometimes, you know? Just the way RNG is sometimes. It's just unfortunate there. Pick up Marius, and then maybe get a kill or two, but that's just how RNG plays out. Not a big deal there. We'll get Marius back around to another turn, hopefully. A1, increase some stuff, just turn meter really there, and then Marius finishes them off. Of course, if your Fabian was built better, that Commodus probably would have switched forms, to be honest, but not really that big of a deal. Everything's fine. Eventually get Carnage's higher star soul. Get lucky from Curse City. Good luck there. And he's going to be a monster for you. Carnage is a really good champion, and your build for him is pretty solid. You have Cat's Gaze too, so he's going to be doing some good work for you. Overall, Arena definitely is going to be an area I recommend. The champions are built already pretty well. You can do a few build optimizations to get them really shining in PvP by like seeing what you're struggling against and then trying to build a counter around that. Maybe you struggle with bombs, maybe you don't. If you're going to go second though, you have to be mindful of that if they have a strip champion, if they have Marius, they have Embries, they have Fabian, stuff like that, you're going to have to get rid of them or figure out a way to not make them as impactful. Fabian can strip through Lightning Cage, Marius can't. So maybe prioritize banning the Fabian over the Marius. That's what it comes down to in Live Arena. If they're doing a go second team and you got to go first team, well, you got to make sure you have at least two options to strip their Stone Skin before your actual nukers go. It's like the two main things to consider when you're running either a go second or a speed team in Live Arena when you're picking against the opponents. Strips, if you have full team of Stone Skin, are very important on either side. If you nuke into Stone Skin, you're not going to do anything to anybody. And if you're getting nuked and you have Stone Skin, well, you're going to survive no matter what champions you have built typically. But either way, guys, that is the account review for Morphus. A little bit of a different one than normal, but I do think this can hopefully help out a lot of players. If maybe you've wondered, where do I need to go and raid? What should my focus be? It ultimately comes down to, what do you find fun in the game? What do you think is worth the investment? What actually even makes sense? Is it worth spending hours for one Cursed City room when you have 15 others that are going to take hours to complete? Probably not. Is it worth it to boost up your Hydra and Chimera scores? Maybe. Depends on your clan and how you want to do. You could always move to a different clan that focuses on those areas more or even less, and then just kind of adjust from there. But just find the area to focus on that one, finish it out, and then once you finish it, just collect the resources daily, get better champions, and find whatever's fun in the game for you, and do that. But guys, if you're interested in having an account review done, click the link down below, get signed up. A lot of different services offered. Thank you to Morphus for reaching out for me to do this. I appreciate it. and I'll catch you all in the next one.